Adam jolted awake, gasping for breath. The clock on his bedside table blinked 3:07 a.m. It was the third time this week he'd woken up at this precise, unsettling hour. A cold sweat clung to his skin, and his heart pounded a frantic rhythm against his ribs. The dream, if he could call it that, clung to the edges of his mind, a fleeting, formless thing. It left him with a residue of unease, a premonition of something sinister lurking just beyond his grasp. He tossed and turned, sleep evading him. The digital clock glowed accusingly, each tick of the second hand a hammer blow to his raw nerves. The city outside his window was a symphony of silence, the usual urban cacophony subdued in the pre-dawn hours. It was an unsettling quiet that did little to soothe his frayed nerves. Adam tried to recall the dream, to grasp at the ephemeral fragments that danced just beyond the reach of conscious thought. Frustration gnawed at him. The harder he tried to remember, the more the dream seemed to slip away, leaving him with a growing sense of dread. He knew, with a chilling certainty, that these nocturnal visitations were more than just bad dreams. They were harbingers, whispers of something ominous waiting to unfold. The dreams grew in intensity over the following weeks. No longer fleeting shadows, they transformed into vivid, hyper-realistic sequences that unfolded with the clarity of waking life. Adam found himself thrust into the heart of these nocturnal narratives, a silent, unseen observer to a series of disturbing events. Each dream, however, shared a chilling commonality. A stranger, always unknown to Adam, met an untimely and often gruesome end. At first, the dreams were mere snapshots, fleeting glimpses of faces and places that held no meaning for Adam. A woman with a shock of red hair falling from a ladder. A young man in a blue baseball cap struck by a speeding car. But as the weeks morphed into months, the dreams evolved, their edges sharpening, the details becoming increasingly intricate and horrifying. Adam began to recognize landmarks, places he'd seen in the waking world, albeit fleetingly and without context. The faces in his dreams became clearer, their expressions a mixture of fear, confusion, and a strange, chilling acceptance. He saw their final moments with a clarity that bordered on the unbearable, their deaths playing out before him like a macabre film on repeat. The dreams, once distant and abstract, were now intruding upon his waking hours, their tendrils seeping into the fabric of his reality. One dream, in particular, seared itself onto his memory, a cruel caricature of a childhood nightmare. It featured a young woman with startling emerald eyes and a cascade of ebony hair that tumbled down her back like a silken waterfall. He saw her standing at a bustling crosswalk, her laughter echoing through the dream as she chatted on her phone, oblivious to the truck barreling towards her. Adam tried to scream, to warn her, but his voice was trapped in a soundproof box, his pleas for her to move reduced to a silent, strangled cry. He watched, his stomach twisting into knots, as the truck slammed into her, the impact echoing through his skull like a physical blow. He woke up with a gasp, the girl's terrified face imprinted on the back of his eyelids. For the first time, he recognized a location from his dream, the cafe on Elm Street, a place he frequented for his morning coffee. Driven by a morbid curiosity and a sliver of hope that he could somehow change the course of events, Adam found himself drawn to the cafe the next day. And there she was, the girl from his nightmare, her emerald eyes sparkling with life as she laughed with a friend at a table by the window. He stared at her, his blood turning to ice in his veins, the horrific scene from his dream replaying in his mind. Adam's life became a frantic race against time, a desperate attempt to outrun the premonitions that haunted his sleep. He meticulously documented each dream, his journal filling with chillingly accurate accounts of accidents, murders, and unexplained deaths. He saw patterns emerging, connections between seemingly random events that hinted at a larger, more sinister design. The more he learned, the more he realized how little control he had. He tried to warn the people in his dreams, but his words were met with skepticism, fear, and even anger. His warnings were dismissed as the ramblings of a madman, his attempts to intervene brushed aside. The weight of his knowledge, the burden of being a passive observer to these tragedies, pressed down on him with suffocating intensity. He became a recluse, his days and nights blending into an endless cycle of dread and despair. Sleep, once a source of respite, had transformed into a waking nightmare, a constant reminder of his inability to alter fate's cruel hand. He was trapped in a macabre purgatory, forced to witness tragedy after tragedy unfold, powerless to stop the inevitable. His insomnia worsened, fueled by the chilling realization that tonight, it might be someone he knew, someone he loved, staring back at him from the abyss of his subconscious. Seeking solace and perhaps answers, Adam found himself drawn to the city library, a sanctuary of knowledge and quiet contemplation. He spent countless hours poring over ancient texts, his fingers tracing the faded ink of forgotten lore. He sought explanations for his condition, for the terrifying gift, or perhaps curse, that had been bestowed upon him. One rainy afternoon, while browsing the dusty shelves of the occult section, he stumbled upon a peculiar book, its leather cover devoid of any title or markings. Intrigued, he opened it, his eyes scanning the yellowed pages filled with cryptic symbols and arcane diagrams. As he delved deeper into the book's enigmatic contents, he came across a passage that sent shivers down his spine. It spoke of a rare phenomenon, a mystical ability known as the third eye, which allowed certain individuals to see beyond the veil of reality, to perceive the threads of fate that bound all living beings. The book described the opening of the third eye as both a blessing and a curse, a gateway to knowledge that could either enlighten or destroy those who dared to peer through its lens. It spoke of individuals haunted by visions of death, their dreams becoming windows into the final moments of strangers. It was a burden, the book warned, that could consume even the strongest of wills. Adam's heart pounded in his chest. This was it. This was the explanation he had been searching for, the key to understanding the nightmares that plagued him.